All right, so this whole event comes together, Detroit Diaspora Day, because you need to think about like the vendors. You got to think about the music, the DJs that we're talking to. You got to think about where the art goes. You also got to think about the food because in reality, food is really what gives people up, right?
For real.
So somebody that brings us together, Bernice, you're curating this event. Why? How? How did this happen?
Well, last year, Drake was very, very nice to bring the event to a space that I was managing at the time. He brought roughly 1,000 people through our doors, and we were just now opening. At the time when he first came to see the place, it was dust all through there, and I promised him that I would have it done by the time, and he trusted me. And so this year, when he told me he was doing the event, I asked him, can I shadow him and can we work together again? Because I just loved everything it did. So number one, when I saw the crowd, when I saw the vendors, and I saw the food and just the community coming together, it sparked something in me. And I was like, I really wanted to be a part of that. Plus, he does a lot of other really, really great events in the community. And I think, the type of business that I am in, I think we do need to get more involved in the community and start bringing community things together and out for everybody to see and participate in, and make sure that Detroit knows that there's these wonderful events going on all the time that brings art and music and culture and community together.
All right, so with that, your background into all of this. So you meet him at the event last year, and I remember that, and that was definitely cool and a unique space, dynamic in itself. And now you're like, okay, let's keep this thing rolling.
Yep.
What's your take on creating an experience for people? Because for people that don't know, it seems like it's just as simple as pulling up at grandma's house. But even when you do that, it takes some organization. But events like this with multiple people need to be places. People got to be timely with things like this. It takes a lot of organizing.
It does.
What's your passion for this? And then how do you keep in mind that experience for that person when they walk through that door?
Right. So my background, I'm a certified project manager. So I do planning and transformation and change management for big corporations, specifically in the healthcare space and in, I'm going to say, the government space. My passion, though, my whole life, what people didn't know was I started bartending, waitressing and stuff when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
I started promoting when I got into my 20s. I kind of cut it out for a little while because I went back to college to get my MBA and everything. So I stopped doing that, but it's always been a passion, throwing events, being immersed in events. And one thing about it, when you are a person who has experienced events from every perspective, behind the bar, in the middle of the crowd, promoting them, you get a different view of it. And so my thought was, I need to find a way to kind of mesh my skills with my passion. You know what I'm saying? So all these project management and event planning, it goes together. It's the same thing, actually. It's just different businesses, right? Project management applies to everything. That's what I tell everybody. You can't do anything without planning. That's all. That's what it is, right? So if you wanted to start a podcast, you had to plan, right? If you want to build a building, you have to plan. If you want to do an event like Diaspora, you have to. It starts with a plan, and so that's where I told Drake I think that I could help, and just to pull it together, take a little stress off of him because he has to wear so many hats. I'm like, well, maybe I can take a couple of those hats, make it a little simpler, make it a little bit easier, and just that way he can do the schmoozing, because that's what the promoter's supposed to do. They're supposed to be, talking to people like you and out in the community, letting everybody know what the value is of the event. And working with him, it was really like, how can I bring more value? How can I maybe see some things that you didn't see before? And help organize it, help it flow. So look at it from a business standpoint, from an operational standpoint.
I like it. So with that, let's let the people know. What will they be in store for? What will they experience this year? How are you setting it up to pour in your sauce?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think the main thing was I wanted to make sure that the vendors were well taken care of, because that's really what it was. I think that's the core of it, right? People coming, seeing all the businesses there, seeing the art, seeing the DJs, and making sure that everybody has a space where they're highlighted. right? So not just the vendors highlighted, not just the DJs highlighted, but everybody immersed together and giving them their own piece. And I think that's about setting the stage, right? And setting the floor plan so that when you walk in as a customer, a patron of Diaspora, that each piece is unique, right? The art, it has its own space. The vendors, they have their own space. The music is filling up the whole room. And it's a flow, it's a flow. And I think that's what I'm here for. I'm just here to make it run smoothly.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And y'all already know Detroit is Different will be in effect somewhere in the mix as well. Y'all may see me with a microphone and camera in my face, but no, where I'm sitting and how it's laid out. And if you want to say, oh man, this is cool, Set It Up Grill.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Detroit is Different is where you get information, artistry, history, music, and even comedy. Detroit is Different, a home for the culture of Detroit. Visit online at DetroitisDifferent.com today.